Courtney Thomas. Welcome to the All Figured Out podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you here.
I'm so excited.
As if I was about to say, finally. But no, we planned this 2 days ago. It's finally here. I've been anticipating this for 48 hours or however long ago that was. Oh my gosh.
I'm just excited. I have watched your podcast just grow into the world, and I'm just so excited to be here.
That means the world.
Truly.
Thanks.
I truly mean it. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, that really means a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's so good, and I'm just excited to share with your audience and just do this with you and watch you shine.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Well, speaking of shining, you are a bright light in this world. This is All Figured Out. I'm Andrea Barr. I'm a career coach for parents, a mom of two, and I absolutely believe that you can continue to grow personally and professionally while protecting family time. We're about to figure out this work, life, and parenting stuff out together. I was telling you I had a Courtney Thomas day because this morning I did an aligned reading with a beautiful soul named Natasha Valley.
Yeah.
Who is one of the many people who has come into my orbit through this crazy word of mouth network that you have created, where it's like a friend of a friend of a friend that originated from Courtney Thomas has come into my world. And I was saying this to you the other day, and I actually wanted to say, I said to you, these people were like, oh, I think I heard of you through Courtney Thomas. And in my head, I was like, no chance Courtney Thomas is talking about me. And you're like, no, I do share.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I'm so, I feel really
do.
grateful about that. And your world is, you have such beautiful humans in your space. And now I also want to read a message that I also just happened to receive this morning. And this is not going to give anything away as to who this is. But I was just getting to know somebody on Instagram. And she said, a few years ago, I joined Courtney Thomas's intuitive container, and that has been life-changing. Some of the women are now my soul sisters from afar, and we voice note, have calls, touch base all the time. I am so grateful for them.
Yeah, that's so special. I love that was written to you because that it still blows me away when I think about the community that has been built. And yes, I understand that the feedback comes back to me and the different groups I create and the containers that I create and the retreats I create, but it goes so beyond that. Like she said, they are voice noting, they're connecting. I get pictures sometimes of people meeting up in New York, in Montreal, in Miami. It's crazy. And I always encourage, no matter where I am and what I'm doing, for real, authentic, vulnerable connection. And I think it's because I show up really vulnerable in my group. I think most people would give feedback that I don't thrive for perfection or performance, but I love a process. So I'll be very authentic about my process. And I think that helps other people be authentic and vulnerable about theirs. And so people really do deeply get to know each other when I hold space, I guess.
How would you differentiate being vulnerable with another human being, say as a coach or holding the space, or being a participant, versus dumping and almost trauma dumping on somebody else? How do you differentiate? How do you toe that line?
Oh, I can answer that for you. I feel very passionate about this.
Cool.
Because I host an intuitive coaching container where I essentially help humans step into becoming an intuitive coach, whether they master reading themselves or other people. And the way I define it is, if you are sharing your story, like you said, to dump and have somebody hold that space for you, you're naming it. You're just dumping on them. You're just trying to kind of speak up and say things that don't necessarily have a place. When I'm vulnerable and I'm sharing my story, there's an intention behind it. And I'm always driving it back to them. And I'm always driving it back to what I'm trying to explain or get them to see or feel or realize. So often at times I'll share information and there's an intention behind it. There's a practice behind it. There's self-inquiry behind it. And then I will use examples that will either go on in my life or maybe a past client's life without using their names, of course, or a family member's life. And then I get to the point of like how now it goes back to them.
The so what? Like the so what for the person sitting across from you.
Exactly.
Because it can toe that line of like story topping, right? Like
Yes.
we've all done it, and we've all been in those situations where the person is like, "Oh, your big toe hurts, my whole leg hurts," and you're like, "Well, this isn't fun. Now we're just like
Yes.
swinging genitals here."
Yeah.
I've never said that in my life, by the way, swinging genitals.
That is so fucking funny. Swinging. Now we're just swinging genitals. Oh my god. We'll sit on that for a little bit later.
Came
That's
out.
so funny.
Anywho, Jesus.
But it's true. It's like what it always comes back to intention.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to intention.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes have to check myself, and I will hear myself and I will actually consciously go like, wait, what's my intention for sharing this story? What's my intention for being here? What's my intention for posting this? What's my intention for sharing or having this workshop or this retreat? And if any of it comes from this place of proving, performing, a place of lack, a place of scarcity, I just pull back. I'll just stop.
I love
I
that.
try at least.
Oh yeah, you're also a human being.
Yeah.
You are the Bodhi Effect, but you're also a human being. Who were you before the Bodhi Effect? Take us to Courtney, career Courtney,
Yeah.
before you created this empire, we'll call it.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, who was I before I started the Bodhi Effect? Well, I took my yoga teacher training in 2011. And prior to that, I did my studies at BCIT. And so I stepped right into sales pretty immediately after that. And just on the side, I was teaching yoga. I started taking my meditation training. And then I did a practice called Kundalini. I don't know if you ever have you tried
Oh, hell
Kundalini?
yeah.
Did you ever do it with Gloria at Semper Viva?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
Wild.
she's just my mentor goddess. Like she changed my life. And she now like has retired in Greece and like lives this beautiful dream.
Just wondering what
So
happened
she'll
to her.
continue to be my mentor and my goddess of life because that will be the dream one day to retire in the Mediterranean. But I did my Kundalini training. And from that training, there was so many opportunities through her lessons that I would receive intuitive information to really offer this work into the world, to hold bigger classes, hold bigger workshops. And it eventually led to me opening up a yoga studio. So, for context, I was a rep with a worldwide cosmetic company, and I was like an account executive for Western Canada. I was doing very well. Like I was checking off every box and winning every gold star that, I was trying to do and climb this corporate ladder. And on the side, I was doing something that I was very passionate about and kept calling it a hobby. And then I eventually turned this hobby into opening up a yoga studio in 2016. And there's a lot that led me to doing that. The main thing was that I experienced my first of what would be 5 miscarriages. And I lost my first baby when he was, well, I learned it was a boy, but learned when he was 12 weeks in growth. So it was like right around that time when you felt like you were in the clear. And the heartbreak was so grand. I've never experienced such shame within myself. Like, if I'm being really honest, it was so hard and I felt so much shame within my body and so much anger within my body. And in my childhood, I learned that to process pain, I would shut down. I almost just had to get really quiet. That was sort of the way that I grew up. If something really big was going on, none of us would speak for 2 weeks, and then somebody would make a joke and then it would all be okay. So I shut down, but gratefully then reached for my tools with Kundalini and received this really beautiful channeled message around opening up a yoga studio. And everything started to align perfectly, down to even like I had all of this information. I was writing this business plan. My husband didn't even know I was doing this, and he's a commercial realtor. And he came up to me a random day, like a month later. He again knew nothing of what my thoughts were and said, I came across this space and I know it's crazy, but I think you should open up a yoga studio in this space.
No way.
Yeah. Like, it was wild. And I'm like, show me. And I walked in and I was like, this is it. Down to like the details of what was on the walls, on the floors, where the window was placed, like everything. That was how strong it was. And so then, where Bodhi bloomed was I always wanted to name my kid Bodhi. So when I got pregnant with this first child, I said right away to Matt, like, name's Bodhi, like, not even an option. And he agreed. And then when we lost the baby, we were trying to figure out a name for the studio. And I had said to the person who was helping me with marketing, I have an idea. And he like rolled his eyes and was like, I hate when people come to me with ideas. Like,
Yeah.
they're usually terrible. And
Yeah.
I told him, and I said, I want to call it Bodhi Studios. And he was like, I love it. I said, the name means enlightenment. And this is the origin of the story of the name. And how I got to bloom this studio was from my loss. And so it became Bodhi Studios, and I ran the studio in addition to working my corporate job. So I sat my boss down and said, I'm opening up this studio, like this is happening. And she said, what are the chances that you can do both? Because I'm assuming you're not going to run the studio open all day. Can you work it in the morning and then work it in the evening and still do your job during the day? And I said, sure. So I would wake up at 5 in the morning. I would teach at my studio till 9 a.m., change at the studio, do sales until 4, and then teach from 4:30 till 9:30.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. And then I opened up the studio again for context on November 21st of 2016, I think it was. Yeah, it's 2016. And then I got pregnant again. So I'm skipping a bit, but I got pregnant again when I was trying to open up the studio, when I was working at Open Studio, lost the baby
Ugh.
in end of October, opened up in November, did that crazy schedule, and then got pregnant again end of February. And at this point, a lot of doctors were saying it will be hard for me to keep a baby. There was a lot of tests I was doing. So I was just defeated and just thought, oh my God, now I'm pregnant again. And so I'm probably going to lose this baby again. But at the same time, I was giving so much energy to the studio that was bringing me so much life. And I was still working the crazy schedule. But this baby stuck around, and that was Deacon, who was born. And then I kept the studio open for another year after Deacon was born, and then I closed it. Yeah.
How did you make that decision to close?
Oh, it was all intuition. So, um, the truth is I had opened the studio. It was so fulfilling. There's so much beauty inside this space. It gave me so much opportunity. Lululemon was really involved in helping me. The Park Royal team here in Vancouver were so kind. Like the people, it was so, oh my gosh, I still will give so much of their validation to keep empowering me to like they helped me. I became a store ambassador pretty quick, and like there was so much beautiful opportunity from them. But in order to close, I had Deacon, and I had to make the decision to go back to the corporate job or not, because I knew I could not still have that schedule
Yes.
and be a mom. And so I felt like it was time. I can't even explain it. I just remember laying in bed, and Deacon had woken up. He was still in his crib just playing. And I just had this moment of like, I think I'm going to close. And I turned to Matt and said, and my lease was up. I only had a 2-year lease. And so I said, I don't think I'm going to renew again. I think I'm going to close. And he was like, wow, that's crazy. But I kind of agree with you. Like, let's do it. It wasn't making a ton of money, but it was definitely fulfilling me.
Yeah.
And so I shared it. And immediately when I sent it out, my body just felt like so aligned, and it felt so right. It was very hard. People still, like almost every week, somebody will talk to me about my studio, which is very kind that people had come and they still remember the space. It was something really special, but it was all intuition. Like I had to listen to that. And I wouldn't have said that at the time it was intuition, but looking back it was. And then, so that was like middle of 2018. And then COVID came in 2020. So I'm really glad that I closed it.
I was really doing the math at the beginning there, and I was like, oh God, is this
Yeah.
a COVID story? Is
No.
this a COVID? Because I didn't know you then. I've only really gotten to know you recently. What a beautiful story. And you know what I take so much inspiration in is the way that you tell the story with doesn't sound like an ounce of regret.
No.
And you don't even show, like if you're watching this on YouTube or socials or whatever, like you're not even showing any morsel of like discomfort of like, oh, this thing that I failed at. Because, and I'm not putting those words in your
Sure.
mouth, but you know, like
Yeah.
the stuff that must have been going on through your mind that you're navigating, grappling with, or other people who aren't as perhaps resourced
Yeah.
might be like, and here's why I closed. Like,
Yeah.
I asked you the question, why'd you close?
Yeah.
And that's just so cool that we can like honor. It's like the Marie Kondo, like you take the thing that you no longer want or that's working for you anymore, and you can lovingly give it a pat on the back and be like, thank you.
There's
And
just so many lily pads in people's
yeah,
lives.
yeah.
We jump from thing to thing, and I think we're taught that life is linear
Mm.
and we're supposed to be climbing this imaginary ladder to get to this imaginary place that one day we're going to just feel something. And I am so grateful for every single turn that I've taken, even the ones that have made no sense, even the ones that sometimes in meditation or in a yoga or Kundalini that I think back on when I'm like, 15, 17 years old, and I'm like, "Oh," it, like, makes me cringe where I'm like, "I can't believe I did that." Um, I just feel like we have to enjoy the process of life.
Yes.
There were so many big feelings that were shared with me when I was closing the studio. Like,
Mm.
to the point of someone saying, like, "This is my only lifeline. Like, you cannot take this away."
Oh dear.
And I had to stand in that, like, I'm going to do it anyways.
That's not
Yeah.
it's not a me thing.
Yeah.
I love that I've created that space for you, but that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not something I have to take on.
And at the same time, I knew that the experience that I created at Bodhi Studios was going to shift into something else. Because again, I do believe that nothing needs to end unless you decide that it's going to end. And so the only way to fail is if you quit. And my work transformed, and it transformed into one-on-one coaching and more corporate wellness workshops, which I loved. So even when I was back in the corporate world and was a mom, I was doing this one-on-one and I was doing corporate workshops. I actually, when I was at this worldwide cosmetic company for perspective, I was selling hair color into hair salons. And the hair salons were very chaotic. There's and I say this because any hairdresser would agree.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no doors, there's no walls, everybody is moving parts. The hairstylists are therapists. They're touching the clients all day long. They're trying to figure out and be mad scientists to make their hair perfect while also trying to nurture their client and sell product. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of energy. It's a huge energy exchange in that space. I have so much compassion for a hairstylist and also to add to that, people who work at restaurants. But I started to share with my clients, salon owners, that I would come and talk about this new shampoo or this new hair color, but I also would like 30 minutes to talk to their staff about anxiety and burnout and stress and how to use tools to work their nervous system, to help their nervous system. And that spread like wildfire. Like, hairstylists loved it, and then they would share with clients in their chair about the work, and then I would get contacts from people like lawyers and accountants and saying, "I heard about you through this, my hairdresser." Um, and so I was doing that on the side. So I closed the studio. My poor boss, I don't know how she handled me. I closed the studio, got pregnant, came back, was like I said, or I whatever, and I said, okay, I'm back like full time. The studio is not an issue. And I still have this baby, or I have a baby, and obviously still have this baby. Um, so then about a year and a half went by, and it was right before 2020 COVID when everything changed. But I got this huge opportunity to lead a more mindfulness workshop for a very big salon downtown, the top salon actually in Canada. So L'Oreal caught wind I was doing this big workshop, thought it was I'm dropping the name, but L'Oreal thought that it was a L'Oreal workshop. So GM came, like VP of marketing came, like huge head office people were flying out to watch me do this, but they did not know that it was a full Bodhi workshop. They thought it was L'Oreal. And I was like, didn't say anything. And I was like, well, I'm just going to do it. And I'm just going to see what they say
Yeah.
at the end. And I just did it and asked for forgiveness later. So I got off the stage and they were shocked, but they were like, it was so good. And I said, I know it has nothing to do with L'Oreal. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, but it makes me stand out and it's unique and like it's memorable for all these different
Yeah.
salon owners. And I was like, and it gets me into like the salon spaces because I'm going in it. But then I'll always sell color into there too.
Yeah.
And they ended up giving me a very cool opportunity to do a lot of work with their head office team out in
Uh,
Montreal, which was very cool. So that grew really fast.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel like I'm rambling, but
You're not. What an unbelievable journey. No, this is where I always
yeah,
ask the career story because so many people listening, so many people I work with have winding stories. And then they always say, well, I don't know, it's not been linear. I'm like, girlfriend,
never.
not a single person that I know who has a cool story, which is everybody, has a linear path. No one
No.
was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a company called the Bodhi Effect when you're
Mm-hmm.
like 5 years old. It could
Mm-hmm.
have never happened had it not happened the way it did
Yeah.
with twists and turns and everything like that. So you've mentioned intuition a bit here. Tell us, like, take us back, and maybe this is now going kind of away from our original timeline here, but take us back to when intuition dropped into your lap, perhaps literally hit you in the head.
Yeah.
Um, how did that come into your life and as something that is like, that's the word I think of when I think of Courtney Thomas,
Oh,
intuition.
that makes me so happy.
That's your word. That's the word from my
Yeah, I'm
perspective.
so passionate about teaching people how to listen to the truth of who they are and then how to share that inner voice with the world. So, for those that don't know what intuition is essentially receiving information beyond conscious reasoning. So, it's essentially when you receive information that you cannot quite understand. There is no proof. There is no guarantee. And you receive this information, and no matter what, I stand by it. I promise, no matter what, that information will always lead you to joy. Always.
Ooh.
Always. It doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be comfortable, but it will be your North Star. It will be your inner compass to lead you to your own unique joy.
How do you differentiate it? And I'm sure you're asked this question all the time. How do you differentiate it from intrusive thoughts, anxiety? How does one lean into the part that will lead them to joy versus ruminating?
Yeah, I would answer this by so your intuition will come from a place of love.
Okay.
It will make you feel immediately at ease,
Mm.
excited. It will come in very clear. It will come in from a place where almost it's not being forced. Like it kind of comes out of nowhere. Whereas your intrusive thoughts, the anxiety, the fear will be more chaotic.
Mm.
It's going to feel like you're negotiating. It will come from a place of trying to keep you from feeling pain. And it will come from a place that's trying to really hold on also to your identity.
Mm.
So, approval, what people think, um, conditions, right? So a lot of times the intrusive thoughts, the anxiety, what blocks you from your intuition is a lot of how we're raised. It's a lot of how we're programmed. It's a lot of what we're taught and told growing up. So it's conditions. If I don't do this thing, I won't. If I like listen to this, then finally I will feel. Whereas intuition is coming from this place of I am. And it's more of this sense of belief within yourself. And sometimes for some of us, it's like 3.3 seconds later, you'll get a hit about something, and 0.3 seconds later, the negotiations will start. Like it can
Mm.
be very fast, right? So maybe give me an idea, or I can give you mine,
Yeah.
of a moment in time where you think that you had an intuitive um, moment come into your life to do something, to move somewhere, to start this podcast, anything that came through.
Mm. Well, the podcast was interesting. It was a business coach I had at the time. And normally I would say I'm a big ideas guy. But this was somebody else who said, you should start a podcast. And I was immediately like what you're describing. It was like a full body yes.
Yes.
I truly said, okay.
Yeah.
It
Great.
was unbelievable. And then I was like looking at myself, like I was like, huh? What?
Okay. Perfect example. So when you say it was a full body yes, can you
Yeah.
describe what that means? What is a full body
Yeah.
yes to you? What did it feel like?
Felt like a beautiful, warm Caribbean wave of water washing over me.
Oh, girl, like, this just makes me
sun, my drink is on the
Yeah.
beach, like, it was just like, whoosh, and I was like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And then it was almost like somebody else was saying it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, this is so powerful because I think a lot of the people listening or watching is going to remember a time in their life where they felt this. Now, what's very cool is that you also explained that then you looked around and was like, "What? Like, who is that?
Who's she?
Who's she?" And then from there, I'm assuming you started to weigh out pros and cons, negotiate, how much will it cost? What will it look like? Where would I go? Am I capable? Who am I?
I don't follow through. My story is I don't follow through.
Okay.
I have a lot of ideas, but I don't follow through on all of them. Oh, is this gonna be another half completed project? Like, that's what started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, huge. Thanks for sharing actually what those negotiations were.
Yeah.
So, your fear started to get louder because it was negotiating with you about the past experiences, right? It was starting to say, "Well, you never follow through." So it's trying to get really loud to prevent you from pain because you've experienced pain in the past from not following through. So then in that moment, those are when the intrusive thoughts come in. Then you also have the idea of like, what will happen if I don't follow through? What if I fail? Will people say again, oh my gosh, she started another idea and this didn't happen? So now that means your ego is the thing that's talking to you, which is the thing that's really concerned with your identity, right? Who does that mean? Who am I if?
Mhm.
And a lot of us will start to listen to that, and it's deeply dependent on, or do you listen to that feeling of the Caribbean in the sun, that moment? And for some of us, the moment is so short, it's so quick, but we dismiss it because the other stuff is louder. Just because something's louder doesn't mean it's right. So we have to discern for ourselves which voice we're going to listen to because your intuition's always going to speak to you in alignment. And I want everyone listening to understand that intuition is our superpower. It's the thing that is designed for us to keep us alive. Like it's to bring life to our lives. And if you look out into the world, into nature, anything right now that is a living thing, it all has a superpower. Some of them are claws, horns, shields, like, oh, right? We see these animals, and then there's things in nature that protects those things to keep those things alive. Us as humans, we were given intuition.
What do you say to the person who is like, "But Courtney, that's nice for you. And Andrea, you seem a little more woo woo. That's not me. I don't have that. I don't have that gift." It's like, okay, you might say it's in there, but I don't have access to it. What do you say to those
I
people?
mean, I typically say, how's that working out for you? Because
Mm,
I would assume that having that type of armor
mm,
is really hard to carry around because they're doing themselves a disservice. This isn't woo, this is quantum physics.
mm,
There is science behind this. There are scientists studying the power of intuition. This is not now some of the ways to access it faster and to build the muscle of intuition is woo woo. Sure. I absolutely would encourage you to meditate. That would be a very powerful way to access your intuition very fast because the world is very noisy and the world has built a lot of tools that take us out of the present moment. So, fortunately and unfortunately, our generation and everybody that's coming after us has to work extra hard at staying present and listening to our truth and getting quiet enough to hear ourselves and our truth. So that's would be my answer. Like I don't think it's going to be working out for you very well. I don't believe that people are necessarily unhappy if they don't listen to their intuition, but I do think that people are losing out on an incredible opportunity to tune into their greatness and what it is that they desire a lot
I
faster.
so believe that. I so believe that, and I wish that I had you at past workplaces of mine that were more data driven, analytical. And I always joke about that on this podcast of like this people who love the spreadsheet. And I love that. I think we need a whole gamut of people who have different superpowers in addition to everybody having intuition. But I remember feeling when I was and, this is no shade to Aritzia. I call them out because it's like I worked with the smartest people in the entire world when I worked there, and it was a really heavy data driven, give me the facts, like, let's work out every permutation, and I felt so much shame. My own personal experience there was that I felt so much shame because there were some things, especially in learning and development, especially when talking about leadership, development, coaching, and things like that, I felt so much shame when I couldn't explain the why behind something.
Mhm.
When I just knew, and there was only a certain couple of times where I was like, "This is a sword, like, this is a hill I'm gonna die on." And there was just certain times where, like, "Well, show me the facts and show me the ROI and show me this," and I'm like, "I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have that for you." And I wish that I could because I know that this particular program for, people manager training or whatever will change lives and will change our organizational culture, but I don't have the stats for you. And I carried so much shame because then I felt like I was an outsider. That
Yeah.
was part of the story I created, or that I, like, wasn't smart enough because I couldn't figure out a way to prove it.
Mhm.
And it was so challenging, but I
Yeah.
really do think that, like we used to say in learning and development, that, like, IQ gets you in the door, EQ gets you promoted. I really think now with AI, we can talk about that.
Sure.
In addition to EQ, this, like, intuition, this, like, discernment, this actually using your own brain, your own heart, your own thinking
Yeah.
mind is, like, the greatest superpower. This
Absolutely.
whole collection, like, that is what's gonna get people to go really far if we're talking about careers.
Oh, it's going to separate
Yes,
people.
in a
You will
big way.
deeply see
Yeah.
those that are in their creativity
Yes.
and believe themselves and trust themselves more than AI, more than a computer can. Now, I think there's a place and space for AI. Sort of. I'm trying to feel like there's a space for AI. But what I know for sure is that going back to when we talked about my intention, whenever I'm getting anchored into like what my intention is,
Mhm.
one thing I should start with this. I am always very curious about the things that block me.
Mhm.
So, what blocks me from my intention? What blocks me from my intuition? What blocks me from loving myself? What blocks me from taking action? So, I deeply believe that measurement takes you out of your intention because we have been programmed to believe that we need to constantly be measuring ourselves and our worth. Simple example would be social media. A lot of people who I've worked with in the past or who've become coaches in my containers have said to me, I can't post that because I don't have enough followers. I feel stupid because I only have 100 followers. And I'll say to them, what if right now I said to you, hey, you're going to join me in a workshop tomorrow? There's 100 people. They're like, I would poop my pants. Like, yeah, I would think there'd only be 3 people. Okay, so you're okay with 100 people listening to your work. Even if you did a 5-minute meditation in front of 100 people, that would feel like a lot to you. But for some reason on social media, you don't think 100 followers are enough for you to share a 5-minute meditation on that. Why? And so it's so much about your own perception of your own measurement. And I'm not here to dismiss that Aritzia has a system and a system that's worked because they are
Yeah.
a worldwide company. But I do believe that those systems and those structures that are in place are changing. They have to change because they're crumbling if they're not on board with also understanding emotional intelligence and understanding that they have people working for them and that those people feel. And we are no longer in a world where these structures were built where the staff or the employees go home and they actually are home, that when they're on the weekend, that they're actually in their weekend. So we're not built to always be on. I think the demands and complexities in the last 20 years have increased at such a significant rate, we cannot keep up. So, right now, what's happening is AI is giving us an illusion that everything's speeding up, that we can do things a lot faster. And hey, we can. There's certain things that you're like, I'm sorry, that just took 80 seconds, what it used to take me 80 days. Like, it is wild, but it's taking away meaning in our life. Because yes, ordering dinner on DoorDash is convenient, but when you think about making a meal with your family, a dinner with your family, setting up, putting a tablecloth out, lighting candles, and sitting down, that adds so much meaning to your life, and it does add an extra 2 hours than DoorDash would. It is no different than being creative in your work. Like you said, the things that you were presenting to your team at Aritzia that you wanted to do that would add value and meaning into people's lives. You're correct. You can't always measure it,
Mm,
but you can feel it.
mhm,
And it's the same way that I think we're all going to look back in a few years from now and go, why do I feel empty? Why do I feel meaningless? Why is there what's bringing me life? And again, going back to that intuition is the thing that's going to it's our superpower. We are ignoring it. And those are the things that like I don't know. I think we're missing the point.
mhm.
I know I'm that's a really long answer for you.
No, I love it. I think it's so beautiful. And you know what you're making me think of too is the like sometimes it actually doesn't make logical sense. I think that's probably what you're saying. And I can dance between the two. Like I can be a pretty logical person, but there's so much feeling in my body. But like sometimes it doesn't actually make sense to make a big elaborate dinner on a Tuesday night. But you might just find it fun, or you might be in a really creative time of your cycle and you're like, oh, I want to try a new recipe. And you know what? I'm actually not feeling like sitting at my desk and I want to have the kids chop with me and I want to put the tablecloth on and I want to put on a sexy dress. And I just feel like doing it. And at the very end of it, and you're cleaning up, you're like, what was it all about? Who cares? Like you enjoyed, you had fun. You
Yeah.
got to connect with your family. Like it doesn't actually make like I just feel like we're in a logical I don't know, like this hyper optimization of everything. Everything has to be tracked. And I'm saying that as someone who also does like that as well. But like, it's a bit much.
Mhm.
It's a bit much. Like, not everything has to have three purposes.
When you say you're someone who likes it, what do you
Yeah.
like about it?
Okay. So it's so funny. I got the Aura Ring only
Oh, I could talk
just,
to you about
I
this.
know. And I put it on a day
I knew it
before.
was an Oura Ring. I was like, "Let's talk about the Oura
I
Ring."
know. And I think that I have no shame around it because I am someone who tracked my body, my cycle, my intuition, like every my feelings around my body and my health. And I was like, okay, I would like to add in some data. There was so much intention behind this
Sure.
purchase, but I thought of you immediately, having famously, I think, thrown yours in the garbage.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, I feel good. Not that I need to justify this to you, but I
No, you
felt
don't.
really
I want
good.
a gem on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
yeah.
I think this is
Yeah,
really valuable for people
I
listening.
think so too.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming from a place of I'm not enough. I like the Aura Ring will fix my life. I was like, I'm getting some data on a few things, including my hormones,
Yeah.
that I'm really curious about that my intuition hasn't quite been able to like give me. Say
Yes.
like I don't know anything about HRV or I don't want to check my pulse and this and that, whatever. And there's a few things that I was like, I was curious about and I actually find it a bit fun.
Totally.
So giving it a whirl.
I am actually very pro people trying an Oura Ring.
Yeah.
I actually learned so much. I thought
Mhm.
I was walking way more and taking way more steps than I was. And I also found that and I had a conversation with a very dear friend of both my husband and I's when we first got them. And he was very just in passing. He's like, "Oh yeah, like I love the Aura Ring for the first few months and then like you don't really need it." And I was like, "That doesn't make any sense." And I just kind of left it. And then yeah, once like after about like a year, I was like, "Why am I still wearing this?" Because it shifted away from curiosity. It shifted away for me and I got feedback from a lot of people, it was the same, so I'm curious in a year from now how you feel, and it's not to tell you that
Yeah.
this is how you're gonna
Yeah, yeah,
feel,
yeah.
but it became this way of you feeling this disappointment when the data wasn't what you wanted,
Mm.
because you would still again get this gold star sometimes with your sleep data being a certain number, with your step data being a certain number, and the biggest moment for me was there was a few times where I would wake up thinking I had the best sleep, and I'd be so pissed off that my sleep would say like 70 when I was like, it had to have been a 94. And like me and Matt would like get into these
Mm.
conversations of I'm like, oh, but then this and like I did that and like and I would get kind of obsessed. Not obsessed, but like down on myself.
Yeah.
And then I had this moment of like, but I felt like I had a good sleep. Why am I watching this thing to give me this number? And again, it was just a way that it was actually taking me away from my intuition.
There you go.
But I do think I learned a lot at the very beginning. And I do think that people, I'm all for like tests and I think it's called like
Oh, yeah,
Pronova
yeah,
scans and stuff.
yeah.
Like I do think data is important to understand yourself, but I also know there's two things going on. I think there's a lot of people who won't look at anything at all, and that
Mhm.
an Oura Ring would be very valuable for them to set some goals or to just get more in their own values of like what it is that they actually really want.
Yeah.
And then I think that there's people who become very obsessed about it,
Mhm.
like
Too much.
too much.
Too
Like I
much.
watch people like I'll be in restaurants, my girlfriends will stand up and start like stomping because they're like, I gotta close my ring, I gotta like do this thing. And I'm like, just sit down and like
No.
enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not judgment, it's just more like it's just it's fascinating to me.
Yeah. You do have to know yourself.
Yes.
It's like the person who knows they have an addictive personality. Like, there's certain things that you're probably not gonna, like, try because you're like, this might not go well
Yeah.
for me," you know?
Yeah.
Um, I really like that. I love the idea of, like, kinda setting that baseline. I also had talking about the Pronovo? Pronuvo?
Pronova. I think it's called Pronova
Something like it's something
scan.
I'm, like, curious about it, but I was talking to my doctor, and she was talking about some, like, advanced testing we could do. So there's some cancer in my family, Alzheimer's, things like that. And she was like, "Oh, we can do these tests." And I said and of course, I'm, like, drilling into it. I'm like, "So tell me." I'm, like, podcasting. I'm like, "So tell me, um, what like, what do we do with the information? Is there information we're gonna get that we can't do anything about?" And she was like, "I love that you asked that question because no, we're not our philosophy is we're not going to test for anything that we can't do anything about because then we're just it's like we're playing God. Like we're telling you
Mm,
it's like a fortune telling situation where she's like, if it can't be, supported through lifestyle choices and maybe some advanced screening, she's like,
yeah.
that's what we want to know. Like, early colonoscopies, like doing some extra whatever. And I loved that. And I
Yeah.
thought that was a really cool, almost like euphemism for life, where it's like, what are the things, it's like the what can you control?
Mhm.
Like control what you can control. And you kind of have to leave the rest to just life.
Yes. Oh, I totally believe that.
Yeah.
And I think going back to like your what's your why?
Yeah.
Like what is your why and what's
Yeah.
your intention and
Yes.
getting very clear on that. And I do believe we as human beings are running on autopilot because
Mhm.
again there is so much noise. And there's so many things that are pulling you out of the present moment and getting you really stuck in the past or projecting you into the future or giving you this conditional mindset that you're not enough in the world. And so what happens is that we have to be again extra discerning to get back into like what our why is and how it is that we want to feel. But we are on this autopilot that we don't slow down enough.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And for those listening who are like, "Oh, that's me." It's all of us at certain times. Like
Hmm.
you can when I feel like when I'm the most tired, when I've taken on too much, those are my indications when I'm starting to feel like I'm a bit of a hamster on a wheel and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know who's running this show. Like I'm a business owner with supposed freedom and flexibility and I don't know, I've got these random calls in my calendar with people I don't even know. It's just
Yeah.
that's my indication for me.
Yeah, we're parents, we're
Yeah.
wives, we're business owners, or we're employees, and we're also daughters and sisters and friends, and we have our home to keep up, and then we
Mhm.
forget so much about ourselves.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
it's
true.
hard.
Yes.
And it also is an opportunity. It doesn't have to be crazy. Like even yesterday, I'll share I'm having some challenges with my oldest son. He's at summer camp this week.
Oh,
I
right.
know he's at
Sleepover camp.
sleepover. He's at a 5-day sleepover camp, and he was having a bit of a hard time. We had a call from the camp manager, and we had to jump on a call with him. And um, again, because of what I was, the family that I was raised in, the home I was raised in, when there is chaos, especially internal chaos going on, I was taught to shut down. I was taught to numb out and just completely shut down. And I had very big feelings when I got off the phone with my son and knew I couldn't see him and hug him. And this was on Sunday night, and today is Tuesday. So it was Sunday like afternoon. And I tell you, like, I wouldn't speak to anyone. Matt couldn't even come to the room with me. I was just like, "I need you to leave me alone." I just wanted to, like, lay in bed with my heating pad and, like, watch a show and completely numb out. I went right back into my patterns, my old worn out ways that are very comfortable for me. Like, they're very comfortable, but they're very unhealthy. And I started to consume like, everything I could do. So I started to get really in the doing and didn't wanna be in the feeling. And I share this because, yes, life is busy. Yes, life can be hard. Sometimes we're hearing about a sick family member, or we're hearing about something going on with our children, or we're being told no from a client, or feeling scarcity from money. We have challenges that come our way, and I had a massive challenge. And um, after my workday yesterday, I wanted to honestly like eat ice cream and watch a movie. I wanted to watch the voicemails of Isabel, which I've heard all about, which I've heard is amazing. And I really had a moment with myself and I was like, wow, this is just totally my comfort to just not sit because it's so painful to sit with how I'm feeling. And I instead decided I was going to light a candle. I just put in Spotify meditation songs. I hit play. I closed my eyes and I just breathed and I just visualized my son at camp and I just visualized myself like wrapping him up in, I'm going to cry, but wrapping up in light. And I did that for like 5 minutes. It wasn't even maybe 5 minutes. And I was like, wow, I just felt so back and alive with myself,
Mm.
and it was so simple, and it was so short, to be honest, and then I blew out the candle, and then I had a tea and watched voicemails of Isabel,
Good.
but
I was
I
like,
think
"Did
it's
you have your ice cream?"
yes, yeah. I actually didn't want the ice cream because I think the
Uh,
ice cream was more of an escape of just, like, trying to, like,
yes,
but, like and
yes.
not that it's I love having a treat at night, but,
Yeah.
um my point is we forget about ourselves
Yeah.
and we forget to sit with ourselves and we forget to feel, and it's hard to feel, it's hard to process, it's hard to get quiet and really allow those emotions come through,
Mhm.
and clearly they're still really raw for me, but the point is that you can make time for yourself,
Mm.
and no time ever spent on yourself is ever wasted.
No. No. It really isn't, and what I think I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing it because I think you're also showing that Courtney Thomas, who some of you might know from her Instagram and like this guru for many, took maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and it wasn't quote unquote "perfect."
No.
Like, I think that we just feel so it has to be all or nothing. It's gotta be this 20-minute sit where my back is straight, I'm sitting on a meditation pillow. It has to be the perfect environment, has everything has to be perfect. The conditions have to be just right, and
Yeah.
it has to be this full tilt thing, and I'm so guilty of that, right? We make these excuses, and I think what you're showing is like, no, it's just like it was a hard thing to just get on my butt and do that for 3 minutes, but, like, it changed you. It kind of rewired things.
It's rituals over rules.
I always say I say rhythms over
Oh,
routines.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking the same
Yeah,
language.
of course, I'm not
Yes.
surprised. But
Rituals over rules. Oh,
because
I like that
yeah.
better.
Well, because and so, again, if, people have followed me, I'll share a lot on social in the mornings where I'll say, "Move in some way, write in some way, and breathe in some way." So, it doesn't have to have a timeline. Again, let's go back to what blocks us? A measurement. So for you, you just said 20 minutes. A lot of us create a measurement as to how something needs to look in order for it to be perfect.
Mm.
Because again, now we're going into fear says, ego says, intuition says. So your intuition gets this hit of, I want to meditate. Like I actually I had a hit of, let's get to the mat and light a candle and just give him some Reiki, which is what I consider it to be. But the point is that if we create a measurement around how it needs to look, we're allowing our ego, our identity, the approval, the performance, or take over what it needs to look like. So you're letting ego talk to you more than intuition talk to you.
What do you think about the people who oh, I don't know how to ask this question.
Just go for
I'm
it.
gonna go for
Don't
it.
hold it
No, I'm not
back.
holding back. I'm like, "What am I even asking?"
Oh, I thought you were trying to be, like,
Well,
careful of
like,
offending
maybe
someone.
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
I
I don't
offend
know.
also oh my god, my last episode, we're like, "We're getting canceled for sure." I forgot what we were talking about. Um, okay, so I think that there's this extra layer in this day and age where it's like, "Oh, if I'm doing this moment of sitting with a candle and having this really human experience." Like the other day I was like, "Oh, I need to shake up my body." And like I was like naked in my bathroom getting ready. And so I like blasted the music and I was dancing around. And then I honestly started thinking like, "Oh, this is one of those moments that you could share on Instagram and it could be this powerful, na na na." And it becomes this thing of like, "Oh, I'm doing this cool thing or this thing that's working for me. Now I feel this obligation to share it." And I didn't, obviously. I was naked. Um, this is an OnlyFans situation. And but I was like, "Whoa, I wouldn't even consider myself like an internet personality by any means." And it's like that must be a crazy thing in this world where people feel like there is this performative nature of like, "Oh, I'm going to do this thing so that I can then show it on Instagram." Like,
Share
what's your take
share
on it?
share it after.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
refilm it.
Ah.
So do your thing. You have that
Put
moment.
some clothes on?
Yeah. Yeah, but truly, like, I that's like my secret sauce, what I tell people on my container. I'm like, "Just film it after." So, like, I would do the full thing and have my moment, and then I'll set up a phone, and let's say I've done a flow writing practice in the morning, which I'll do often, and then I wanna share with people I've done a flow writing too. Again, my intention is to encourage them to do a flow writing. But I don't want 'em to interrupt my flow writing because now I feel like a camera's watching me do a flow writing.
Yeah.
So I will, put my camera up and I repeat the same 3 affirmations every single morning. So often at times when people see me doing the flow writing, I'm actually writing my 3 affirmations out. I'll say them out loud, but in the videos, I would be writing them. Or sometimes I'll just write like what my intention is. Like I do something kind of short, but I'm talking about flow writing in the video because it's what I had just done.
Yeah.
Um I mean, I guess when I'm, like, out in nature and I'm doing my walk, I will, like, just quickly do it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't write on my story to post it until I'm home.
Mm.
So, like, I'll never interrupt my ritual.
Love that.
Like, I would do something quick, but, yeah, film it after. Like, you did the dance and then put clothes on and then just show yourself dancing for 5 seconds, but then
Mm.
write what the experience was, or jump on the story after and talk about what your experience was to show the example.
I love that. And I love that you're just calling that out.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell everybody that.
Why not? Like, why not? It's
Oh my
not
gosh, if
yeah.
people like, I'll do a breath work, and then it's so funny because 'cause I'll be, like, in it, and my kids will be, like, walking around like, "Oh my god, she's going crazy," and then I'll get out of it, and then I'll talk whatever, and then I'm like, "Oh, I just wanna film the breath work," and then I, like, put it up, and I'm like, and, like, doing it, and Matt's like, "This is insane." I'm like, "But I don't wanna interrupt my breath work to do it," and then I'm having a 15-minute video of my breath work, which, like, doesn't make any sense, so I'm like, I just did a quick clip
Yeah.
because, again, my intention is just to share it so it encourages people to do the same thing.
Yes, because you
Yeah.
understood what your intention was.
Oh, yeah, girl, do that.
Okay. I thought you were gonna be like, "No, like, that's a sacred moment." Honestly, I thought that's what you were gonna say.
No.
Cool.
No, because I
You're like,
think it's
"Share
actually
it."
so much more sacred for yourself to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like I think because I don't know, maybe other people who share stuff would have a different answer, but, I think again, like, now we're taking meaning out of it, and then I feel like I'm more in performance.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's beautiful.
yeah.
You mentioned flow writing.
Yes.
What is flow writing? You have also created an unbelievably beautiful product. We will put it here on the screen that you can see
Yeah.
the gorgeous shots of this incredible kit. But first of all, start with flow writing for those who, aren't in your world, don't know what
Yeah.
this is, what this concept is. It sounds like it's amazing for mothers, especially.
It is. I think it's amazing for anyone who wants to peel back the armor or the performance or the overthinking and really get into the truth of what it is that they feel.
Mm.
And flow writing for me is such a powerful tool to access my intuition, to really understand and trust what comes through. So often at times, I think when we're trying to make decisions or we're trying to access what I'll keep going is like our soul, which is like the truest, most wisest part of who we are. It's the part of us that has no ego, no fear. Um, I believe there's a lot of layers to get to that truth.
Mm.
And flow writing for me has been, other than Kundalini, has been one of the fastest ways that I access it. And for other people too. I mean, it's been such a gift to hear people share their experiences with me. So I experienced flow writing through one of my mentors, Brie Melanson, talked about flow writing, and she just gave the concept. And so you basically write a beginning of a sentence at the top of a page. You would maybe play meditation music or set your timer for 10 minutes, and you do not let your pen stop moving. The only rule is it can't stop moving. So you can repeat the sentence over and over again. You can repeat the same word over and over again. You don't overthink it. You don't question why a word comes up, why a thought comes up. Your page can dance to 1,000 different places, and there's absolutely no judgment that's allowed on the page. And so what happens is you begin to write, and what I have experienced and others have too is like almost like you start to channel because it feels like something takes over your pen, but you're still getting such a clear, wise message that's coming from yourself. So I had this experience and it was amazing, and I was doing it on my own for so long. This was probably, I wanna say it's like 2019, 2020 was when I was doing this, and then in 2021, I held a 5-day flow writing workshop. So every morning, we would meet on Zoom with this community or with my community, and I would lead them through this practice, and so then I moved it to every Wednesday. So I have a membership and, an app, a mindfulness coaching app, that members can be part of. And every Wednesday to this day, we meet at 6:30 a.m. So we'll meet tomorrow, and we meet for 20 minutes. I chat for the first 5 minutes about what the prompt is going to be about. I give them just some deeper dialogue around it. And then I play some music and we all flow right together for 10 minutes. And then afterwards, we do a short meditation. Usually it's a Kundalini meditation. So it's a Kriya, which means it's like a physical part. So it's like I'll get them to hold their arms up for 5 minutes, or they'll do some sort of beautiful mantra or practice. And I have actually started now to leave about 5 minutes after that. So now it goes to about 25 minutes for people to share what came up. Because it is nice to everybody to be able to have some time to talk. Because sometimes you're like, okay, now it's over. And I just go back to my world. So I've been doing that since 2021. So that's been 5 years,
My
which is
god.
crazy. And I had a lot of people say how much it's meant to them. The community's grown so big, and I'm so proud of it. And so I just last week shared the pre-sale link to now order your pre-sales that will arrive in late August, but it's a flow writing collection. So I built a flow writing journal, and I'm so proud of it. It's this beautiful blue linen journal that says flow writing for the soul at the front. And there is a space at the very top of every page to write how you feel, what feelings are with you, what your intention is for the day, and then what your flow writing prompt is. And in between some of the pages, there's quotes along with some really beautiful morning rituals that you can do. And some, it's all like my little secrets. Everything, like all my secrets are in now this collection of like what I'll do in the mornings. Little small things. My mantras that I say every morning are in there, and it's really special. So how you get the prompt though is I've created these cards that are like oracle cards, and the idea is for you to ground, you shuffle the cards, and then you lay out the cards in front of you, and you just listen to your intuition and your body to which card is tugging at you. You pull the card, you flip it around, and that's your prompt for the day. And then there's a guidebook that will go into that deeper insight. So, like the insight I would talk about in the first 5 minutes of every call, it's now in a book. And at the very bottom of the page of whatever prompt you choose, there's also a ritual that you can do for the day. And some of it is something small like go and clean out a drawer. Some of it is to go and try to go and touch something in nature. Some of it is to write yourself a forgiveness letter or to call the person that like you've been meaning to have a conversation with. But there's really beautiful rituals in it throughout as well. So I'm really excited. Like, I can't wait to hear people have this in their homes, experience it, and then have this tool that they can do this on their own every day and hopefully experience like what they feel, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
I'm so
Congratulations.
excited.
I can't wait for mine to come. It's
No.
gonna be so
Thanks for
good.
supporting me. I'm
Of course.
yeah, I can't wait to share it with the world, and, it's one of my favorite practices.
You know what I really love about it is just breaking down that accessibility piece. Like, while yes, I did my yoga teacher training and like love to play in the woo, and like I always joke about people using the term like the work, not Byron Katie, but like just doing the work and this and that. I've heard from a lot of people who are my clients who are the engineers who are just wired in a way where they do love the data or they do love like really hard tangible facts. What I think I've had issues with in, like, say, the well-being industry has sometimes been this, like, inaccessibility. It's like an other,
I know.
like you are other, and I know you've got thoughts on
Yeah,
that
I
for
do.
sure. I know that. I don't even really know you very well, but I know you know that.
Yeah, I do.
And it's like, what I love about this is it's like, hey, it doesn't like you don't even have to think. You could be a super sleep deprived new mom who just needs like who has only 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm gonna give you a prompt. You don't even have to think about the prompt. You don't have to like, here's a card, and I love that. I think that accessibility piece is so important. Or for the person who feels paralyzed by the perfection of like,
Yeah.
what should my perfect question be? A ritual that's like go touch grass. Wicked, like just
Mhm.
get allowing people to just like have an idea or focus for the day where they're gonna see the flowers or they'll go see the grass or they'll see the tree.
There's
Like
52 prompts, and not one of the rituals of the 52 cost you anything. So you have no
perfect.
excuses.
No.
Yeah, oh, I'm a big believer in that. I think, yeah, I think, if again, you feel any form of scarcity or lack or
Mm.
not enough from something that people will call wellness or ritual, I don't know, I challenge it a lot.
The very first time we met, I said, "Hey, wanna go do a cold plunge in the
Yeah,
ocean?"
I
You
know.
said, "Heck yeah, I do."
Yes, I do. I
Then I
love
learned
it.
you had your own cold plunge, but you were
Yeah,
still so game.
but it's like a cow trough thing that like
I love
but
it.
yeah, yeah, I'm a big believer, and I do have a sauna in our backyard. I mean, granted, we got it so that we could host retreats and I
Yeah.
could bring people there, so I know that that is a luxury and it is something that costs money. Um, but I think that look, the wellness industry is one of the fastest growing industries right now,
Yeah.
and it is set to be, I think I just saw something today that it was gonna be like a $28 billion industry by 2030 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, read between the lines, like, people are gonna make money if they can, but, like,
Yeah.
it's so fun for me to hear people who say they need this, but then won't put their face in the sun. Or say that, like, I don't know, it's so much
I
just
know.
free, like, it's
I
like, I
know.
just there's so it's accessible to everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know.
Okay, Courtney
Okay.
Thomas, we're gonna do a rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, if you had to choose sauna or cold plunge,
Cold plunge.
wine or a mocktail?
Wine.
So fast. One word that your besties would use to describe you.
Mm, deep, like, just the deep one.
And what's a word that people would use to describe I'm going off script. What's a word that people would use to describe you that you actually would think people wouldn't realize?
Mm. I would say, ugh, I don't even know if I could say it as a word. I would just say like, I'm gonna just say, and I could describe it
Yeah, yeah.
later, but it would be, like, more wild than I'm more wild than I think people realize. Oh,
Fun.
yeah.
I
Like,
love it.
I will have a good time. Yeah.
I know you
My
would.
nickname was Storm and Norman for, like, all of my 20s,
Oh.
and that was my old last name was Norman, so that was my
I was like, "Where'd the Norman come from?"
Yeah, my old last name before I got married was Norman, and so, yeah,
Cute.
yeah. So, it's not necessarily like I get, like, hammered and, like, that comes out, it's, like, just, like, the excitement. Like, I just want people to have a good time.
I love
Yeah.
it. Favorite skincare?
Right now it's Epicutis, but I also love a Pure Rose skincare, like, that is my skin loves just pure rose, especially if
Cool.
it's, like, a good company that extracts it properly. Oh my god.
Neat.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm gonna look that up. Oh, now I'm laughing at this. Claude or ChatGPT?
I would actually oof, I know.
You could say neither.
I will say ChatGPT, but I was even thinking about trying to do, like, a 30-day cleanse of, like, both.
Yeah.
I don't use it a ton,
Mhm.
but I use it for, I use it a lot in my luteal phase.
Yes, I'm a big proofreader for it
Mhm,
because I
yeah.
love doing a dump of stuff, like a really dirty dump, but then but then it, like, helps to, like, tidy me up.
But then sometimes you're like, "This is just sounds like
Oh, yeah,
ChatGPT."
true,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"That's this is you," and I'll be like and I'll write like, "No, you took everything that I liked out of this." And then it
I always say, "I like this, I think it's perfect, but there's spelling mistakes,
Oh, yeah.
etcetera, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
tighten it up a bit."
Yeah, but
Okay,
I'd say ChatGPT.
yeah. Text or a voice note?
Text. Oh, I have such a hard time with over 2-minute voice notes. Our friend Emily,
I knew
everyone knows our your beautiful Emily's been on the podcast a couple times. It's so funny. She one time sent me an 8-minute voice note and I was shocked, but I was walking and her voice is so lovely. So I actually did listen to it. And then I wrote her back and or voice note her back. I said, you need to understand I've never listened to a 8-minute voice note before. That's how much I love
Well,
you.
my
Like,
best friend
and
sent
I
me a
couldn't even
10-minute
speed it
yesterday.
up. Oh my God, 10 minutes. I couldn't speed up. Usually I speed everybody's up.
Yeah.
But what I will also say, because anybody who's in my community is laughing right now, because I have a very strict rule that you cannot send me over a 2-minute voice note to my clients.
Mhm.
But I did kind of change the rule because I think I was doing so many one-on-ones with people
Mm.
that it was overwhelming for me because they were talking about like their big stuff in life and I couldn't answer them right away or I couldn't write it down and it was too overwhelming. But then once I stopped my one-on-ones, I can listen to voice notes better now, but I text, like, text. You have to text me or just get on a phone call with me.
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
What is the best advice that you would give or you have received in motherhood?
Um, don't forget about yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. Don't forget about yourself, you know? I heard Emily say on this podcast to let your kids see you be a woman as well. That was really beautiful. Um, and I just couldn't echo that more. Like, just don't forget about yourself, you know? My kids know what makes me me, and also celebrate yourself.
Mm.
I think, it's okay to just, like, say what you love about yourself to your kids, you know,
Yes.
and not apologize for the things that bring you joy.
I love that. I haven't
Yeah.
heard that one yet. I love
Yeah.
it. What are you still trying to figure out? I ask this to all my guests.
Oh, it's such a good question. Okay, I'm gonna be really vulnerable. I've never
Yes.
said this. I haven't said this to anyone.
An
Maybe I've
exclusive.
said it to Matt.
An
I
exclusive.
am trying to figure out how to be as successful, but not as much on social media. Like, I'm trying to kind of figure out how to get off social media.
Love that.
I probably won't yet, probably because I don't have the answer to, but, yeah, I'm not as aligned with it anymore. Or to do a different form of it, like, I'd love to be on YouTube, like, it's a bit more long form. Instagram is tough.
It is tough.
Yeah, it's tough,
I
and it
appreciate you calling that out.
yeah, I would
But it's a
say
vehicle. It sounds like it is like quite a vehicle for you.
a huge vehicle for
Yeah.
me. I'm so grateful for my the Instagram community that I've built and the loyalty and the kindness.
Mm.
I'm so lucky for that. I had my girlfriends ask me that this weekend of like if I ever get stuff and I'm like, "No, people are so nice to me on Instagram." Um, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm just feeling like what I would love to figure out is how to get off of it and still have my community and them still feel as close to me,
Mm.
and still feel as supported from me and still be in their pockets little ways all day long. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot. It's like a full-time job.
it is. It is
Mhm.
a full-time job.
Yeah.
This was so beautiful.
I
Thank you
know we didn't even talk
so
about all of the stuff we wanted to, but we just
didn't pick this card up once.
okay, great.
No, we hit a lot.
Did
We hit
we?
a
Okay,
lot.
good.
We
Okay,
hit a
good.
lot.
I could talk to you all the time. This was so fun.
Same. Come back
You have
anytime.
a beautiful energy.
Oh my
I
gosh.
need to tell you that. Like
Thank you.
this space is amazing and you have like you could just feel that you're so deep in your truth. I'm really honored to be here.
Oh
Like
my
I truly
that
mean that.
that really means the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Keep going. Like
Thank
you're
you.
going to be so successful with this. Yeah.
I friggin' love I'm like, even if nobody listens,
Oh, it doesn't
it
matter.
is such a gift to be able to sit across from people
Yeah.
like you or sit across on a computer, but this is preferable.
This is better,
And
yeah.
get to just ask, you know, 1.5 million questions that I'm feeling intuitively in that moment to a
Yeah.
person like you. I'm like, This is unbelievable.
Yeah, but, like, you're not, like it feels like you're not trying to get to an end, like, you are so in flow, you're so playful, you're so good at questions, like, this was such a joy.
Ugh.
I'm really glad that you listened to your full body Caribbean feeling.
Oh
Yes.
gosh, the wave and the drink. Oh,
Yeah,
me
but I love you.
too.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
You're amazing.
I'm so grateful.